Okay, so whenever we're saying that God created, okay, this is very important. I'm not going to explain this fully yet. I'm going to explain this a little later. But whenever we say that God created, our rabbis teach us that God created something called yesh me'ayin. Yesh me'ayin means something from nothing, okay? Again, how did God create the world? He created the world something from nothing. What does that mean? Let's give terms. What is something? Something means every term you know as a term, relative term, which we're going to go into it later, it's a creation in itself, okay? That means that everything you use in order to relate to anything, it's a creation. Therefore, by definition, that also means it doesn't exist, but we're not going to go into it yet, right? This includes time, space, physicality. Actually, when Hashem gave the Torah says that the moment that God gave the Torah was exactly like the moment before God created the world. Meaning God was there in his whole essence. You could feel God. The whole world stopped functioning. Everything was frozen. And everyone in the world recognized that there was a God. So one of the ideas in the Torah is that the mountain was full of ashan, okay? So now, ashan means smoke. Yes? Okay. If you don't know this, you know. When mishu me'ashen, it means he's smoking. Not good. Ashan means smoke. So now, in a simple term, the mountain was full of smoke. Yes? Because, there was like fireworks and like special effects and whatever you want. Right? By the way, before I tell you what I'm going to tell you, what does smoke do? Let's say you have a place that's full of smoke. What does smoke do? It makes things hazy, which means what? You can't see them clearly, yes? Which means everything is blurry. You cannot see things by its essence, but rather smoke takes away your ability to see. Listen to this, because this is deep. I just got this insight right now. I just love it. I like it so much. You know what smoke is? Smoke takes away your ability to see what's beyond the smoke. Think about this. Smoke's purpose, it takes away your ability to see what's behind the smoke. Because smoke is not like fog. Smoke, if you look at it, it burns your eyes, right? It takes away your ability to see that which is beyond the smoke. So now in a simple level, everything was smoky, there was fireworks, whatever you want. On a deeper level, says the Torah, why was the mountain full of smoke? Because at this moment, right, God affected all of the dimensions of the world. And therefore, you were able to relate to God in a different terms. What are the dimensions of the world? Olam. What does olam means? World. This is space. Yeah? Shana. What is Shana? Time. It means a year, but it's a dimension of time. And this is nefesh. Nefesh is physicality. These are the three dimensions of the world, right? But now, that means when we say God created something out of nothing, that means that God created everything you call something, which includes these three dimensions. But now if you think about deeper what we just said, what is the purpose of smoke? The purpose of smoke is to not allow you to see what's beyond smoke, right? That means that the purpose of space, time, and physicality is to blur your vision from seeing what's beyond that, which is the real thing. Because all of this is smoke. Whatever you see in this world is really not there. It is just smoke. You understand? This is why, there's a famous book called Kohelet. Has anyone ever read this book? Kohelet, it's like the last book Shlomo HaMelech wrote before he died. It's vanity of vanities. Everything is vanity. So he said that this world, it's like heaven. Right? He said like this millions of times. Hevel havalim hakol hevel. Yeah? Vanity of vanities, everything is vanities. Right? So our rabbis teach us the word heaven in Hebrew also means fog. What is the definition of fog? You're sometimes driving and suddenly you see this white stuff in front of you and you feel like you're going to hit something. And then when you get close, you see it was nothing really. It just looked dense. It looked like it was, but then you notice it was nothing. This is why the plural of hevel, which is havalim, our rabbis teach us that if you rearrange these letters, you get bli, ma. There's nothing in it. You see it as an existence, but really there's nothing in it. Everything that God created in this world is an existence that makes believe there's something, but really is not. This is why one of my favorite, you're looking at me like, what is it? Yes, like fog. It looks like it's something, but it's not. I'm going to go deeper into this, right? It is there in order to allow us to exist, right? Yes? But then, is it a term of God? No, that's why I'm saying it's a term that's created. Therefore, it's not definite, right? This is why there is a famous saying from our sages that it says like this. Kiner mitzvah, sorry, it's a pasuk in like Mishle or something, I don't know which one, but whatever. It says, Kiner mitzvah betorah or. Because a mitzvah, it's a candle, and the Torah, it's light. What is the relationship? Because a mitzvah, it's a candle, and the Torah, it's light. Our rabbis teach us that this world is called in Aramaic, Olam Dashikra. Yeah? What does Olam Dashikra sound like? This is in Aramaic. It means the world of Sheker. What Sheker? Lies. The world of illusion. But as I always say, and I'm going to go into it deeper, an illusion is as real as you think it is, as you want it to be, right? But it's still an illusion. It's fog. It looks thick. It looks dense. But really, there's nothing there. This world is Olam Dashikra. Now, have you ever gone to a cine, right? A movie theater. In Spanish, we call it cine. Now you learn some words in Spanish. Everyone repeats. No, I'm joking. Okay? So you go to a cine. What happens? The lights are off, and you really feel it. Nowadays, by the way, it's like 4D. So you're in the movie. I saw somewhere they have a movie theater that's 7D. Is that possible? What the heck is 7D? No, that's 4D. Maybe like the screen opens up and eats you up, you know?
I was at once like where it's like in the water and you got like wow,
Yeah, that's 4D. That's like Shrek in Universal Studios. When the seat moves,
yeah.
you get water, that's 4D. I have no idea what 5D, 6D, or 7D is. I think I got lost with all of these dimensions. One second. But what happened? You're in the movie, and like everything is going on, and you're like, ah. And then suddenly they light up the light, and the movie's over. That's like life. You're so in it, but when you put a little mitzvah, you put Torah, you notice, it was not this. You were so in it that you didn't realize it wasn't really happening. You know, like Bar Minan, in worse terms, like what happened in Colorado a few years ago. You guys remember there was a shooting? And the people in the movie thought that was part of the visual effects. You know? Because it is so real to A that if there's, this is just Dolby digital sound, I don't know what, right? IMAX theater. But that's our whole entire life. Everything you see it as is. But then when you look deeper, you realize it is not. It's just fog. Yeah?
So what was the smoke thing? Where did that come from?
No, the Torah says that the mountain, when God gave the Torah, was full of smoke. Yes? So I'm telling you the deeper sense of it. Smoke is an acronym for this. Ashan. Olam, Shana, Nefesh. Yes? But now, this is why, by the way, the Torah says that when God created the world, He created it through a process called Tzimtzum. Okay? Not Ching Chuang or whatever you call it, or the tea from the Chinese people. Tzimtzum. What does Tzimtzum mean? Because a mitzvah is a candle and the Torah is light. Yes? I see you. I have your back. You wrote it? Because a mitzvah is a candle and the Torah is light. Ah?
Mitzvah is the candle.
And Torah is light. Yeah, because a mitzvah is just one tiny portion. So you have a little candle. I was going to sing a song, but then I forgot it. Okay. God created the world from this process called Tzimtzum. Yes? What does Tzimtzum mean? Tzimtzum means contracted. So now, remember how I told you that people say, no, that Torah or all of these things don't make sense because it's irrational? I told you, no, it's not irrational. It's anti-natural. Not the same thing, but if God is almighty, He could do anti-natural things. What is Tzimtzum? Tzimtzum is one of these contradictions in the Torah that shouldn't work, but does work, but only because God is the only one that could do it. You know, God really is everywhere. Our rabbis teach us, most people say, oh, God is in the world. Now, I'm going to use this quote many, many times in my class because it's very important. Our rabbis say, it is not that the world is the place of God, but rather God is the place of the world. You heard this? It sounds the same, but it's not. I'm going to say it again. It is not that the world is the place of God, but rather God is the place of the world. You heard what I just said? That means most people think God is in the world. No, God is not in the world. The world is in God. Because if God is the existence that brings everything into existence, doesn't mean that God is everything, and therefore whatever is needs to be in God. Yes? Okay, so now this is the way it works. God is the place.
It's not that
The world
it's not that the world
is the place of God. לא העולם המקום של השם, אלא השם המקום של העולם. But God is the place of the world, meaning the world is in God. Okay, this is also an important fact because I'm going to connect everything later. Yes, the world is in God. Yes? What does this mean, right? If you think about it in a deeper sense, God is everything, right? But now, if God is everything, question, can anything exist in God that is not God? No, because God is everything, right? Obviously, God does not occupy space, but if God is everything, then nothing could exist out in God that is not God. So what God did when he created the world was that he sort of like contracted himself and created an empty space inside of himself, okay, whatever that means, you do it in your terms, where you exist here and you're in God, but outside of God at the same time. And therefore, this is the space where all of these, terms happen, and it's in God, but it's not really in God. You understand what I just said? That's the world. This is why I'm going to explain it again. God really is everything. But by definition, question, yes? If God is everything, can anything else exist? No. If I occupy all the room, nothing else could be there. Yes? So what do I need to do so that something else fits there? I need to make myself put aside. But now God is everything. How do you put aside God, right? So this is what the Torah says. God made this process called Tzimtzum, which means contraction, in which God contracted himself. He created a vacuum, a space within himself that by definition, that space cannot be fully godly, because if not, nothing could be able to exist in that place outside of God. Yes? And therefore, that is the space where we exist, and we do not follow. In this space, the rules of God do not function. But this space is still inside of God, which I need you to understand this so that I could explain this later when I get to my book. You understand? So therefore, in this space, there is, physicality, there is all of these things, right? But this is inside of God. It's sort of like Harry Potter, באמת זה לא כל כך קשה, right? You go to a platform 3/4, and 3/4 it's in the middle of the train. But once you enter platform 3/4, right, in order to enter platform 3/4, you need to let go of all of the rules of the train, of the station. Does that make sense? So that's the same thing in the world. Because if not, platform 3/4 wouldn't be able to exist with the world of magic, because it would be bounded by the rules of the other world. And therefore, God made a space in himself, which is a void of him, as if God is not there, to allow something that is not exactly like him to be able to exist. Yes? But by definition, being that it is inside of God, God is still there, not still, but obviously it's inside of God. That's why I told you. The world is in God. It's just that the way that you perceive him is different, because he makes himself be perceived in a different way, not because God had any change. You understand? This is why we know that in Hebrew, how do we call the world? The world is called olam, from the word ne'elam, which means hidden. Who's hiding? God. But now, one little question, and then we go. If you ever think about it, the whole concept of hiding means that what was there was totally revealed. You ever thought about that? When does something hide? When you were able to see it completely before. If I'm in this room and you do not see me, do I need to hide? No. When do I hide? When you were able to fully see me, but I don't want you to. You understand? That means that my essence is complete. That's exactly what God did. He hid. But that exactly means that his essence is full. How do you reach this essence? I'll tell you later. But in that place where God is hiding, really God is in full essence. But in order for us to have a relationship with him, which means we need to choose it, he makes himself not be seen. But the fact that he's making himself not be seen means that he could be completely seen. You understand? Great. Continue with this next time. Any question? Other principles will be easier. Don't worry. Not really. The first 3 are complicated. And then it gets easy. And that's it. Yes, no questions?